Yeah, welcome back, dear students. So I welcome you in one of my the new dashboard, the project on which I was working, and I'd like to now discuss this with you. This is a very good, very powerful Outlook automation where we can now send the emails to our clients at a specific time, the time that we need. We can exclude also the list while sending those emails. If I want out of 100 email IDs, I want to maybe let's say skip the any three IDs, I can do that. And you can give the time over here. Okay, you can see the format. Okay, so you can give the time here, and you can add the comments as well. And on this email further, you can also take the follow for this. There's another tab which I have created. Okay, so I'm going to explain you on this. So follows will also be going on the auto mode. You don't have to do anything. You just need to go and put the time when this email has to trigger. Okay. Now this basically is covered into two major sections. The first one is that we have given the user the provision that he can quickly go and click on this preview macro, and she can see that how this email is going to look like in the body. So if I click on the preview, you see immediately a pop-up will come, and you need to have an Outlook on your system and MS Word as well. I'll explain you this in two parts. Okay, this is the first part. The good thing is that here you can format anything because this is directly coming from the MS Word. So you see, I have formatted it and the image is also there. So whatever signatures you are using, it doesn't matter. Your company logo, anything can come over here. So once I'm happy with this, I can always go and use it. And I can also go and create the spaces in these lines. For example, like this, not here, but directly from the Excel. This is the first part which I will explain how we have done it using the Word and of course Outlook application. So we are using MS Word and MS Outlook, and they are all going to be controlled by Excel VBA. Fantastic. This is the first thing, right? Same way, this is the second level preview also, which is for the you see that, because if you have to take a follow, so this is a follow line. Okay, and you can click on the preview again, and you can see that always before you start sending the emails, you want to make sure that how the email is going to look like when it will be sent. So this is how the email will go. Okay, now you see here, this is a line. Whenever you reply to somebody, Outlook automatically generates a line. So very cleverly we have created this line over here, because when I'm going to send the follow-up, then you won't be able to see that by default line which in the Outlook always comes. So this line I have created it. It's just simply a insert and the shape. You can just go and insert a line over here. Okay, so this is the first part which I will explain you. I will explain you only this one. Okay, similarly on the same page, this one is also created. Okay, so on the second stage, what we want to do is we want to basically on the second stage talk about this. Okay, that where I can go and give the time, and then the attachment will be added, and it will be sent to this user, this user, this user. And if you have more, of course, then yes. Right? So how are we going to do that? Okay, now, so let us begin this. Let us first do the first level, and then we will talk about this. So in this video now, I'm going to talk about that how we can go and give the formatting to the Outlook. For example, if I click on this preview, you see that this entire content, including your signatures and your, this image, will be pasted on the Outlook body. And this is really a good achievement. This is really fantastic work, because many times, you need to go and format the Outlook part. So you can see I have got the logo. I have got the bold also, the content is there. So you can always customize this. It has everything. Now this is one of you actually have emailed me last week asking about that. Is there any possibility that we can customize? We can format the Outlook, the body messages, right? We can bold them, or we can even have this provision of sending the images, right? Over here as your company, maybe logo or whatever. Okay, so you can see that we have achieved this, and this we have achieved using a MS Word. So I'm going to talk about this. Now, the good part about this is that you can use this in any of your project, because user will be able to edit the script over here, and the same will go in the Outlook email. Okay, so you can bold anything here. Like for example, if you want to bold this like this. So I have, you see, my name is Ajay Parmar, and this is now bold. So if I now click on this preview tab, you see what the email will be drafted. It will have the same, exactly the same formatting. And this is fantastic because now you can use this in any of your project, isn't it? As I said, and the user will have a control, right? In fact, I have also tried to do one thing, that in case if you want these lines to come after this, let's say you want this in a single line, you can do that as well. Okay, so for example, right now you see this is a training will have practicals. So when I see it as a preview, maybe I'm not happy with that. So what is the next thing I should do? Well, the next thing I should do is that I go back to my Excel, right? And here the line which I have written training will be, I'm just going to cut this entire line from here. See this? I cut this line from here. Okay. And what I do is I go and paste this line over here, right? And remember that if you pay attention, I have created this, the width of this, the cell, by making it sure that it's exactly how it is going in the Outlook part. So Outlook is taking how much, the space, the width. So keep this on the 100%. Now, once I've created this, so training will have practicals. If I click on the preview again, now this line should be in the same line, this is the plan basically. So let us see that now, the preview is getting generated. So now you can see that, thank you for giving me this opportunity. And yeah, this is the one. So training will have practicals. Yeah, exactly. You see that? This is the line. Okay. Honestly, this all, you can just go and, use the dictionary. That doesn't matter. However, this is absolutely fine. It's just that, some technical words are there because these are my topics which I teach. So you see, this is how we can go and create this customization. And this is really super because you can not just control the bold letters, signatures, but also you can decide which line it has to be, and which line it has to be blank. Now, for example, you see there's a gap between these two, right? On the option after that, there are 2 lines. So why these 2 lines? Because you have created here the gap of 2 lines, isn't it? Now, if I just go and cut this from here, for example, I'll just show you. I cut this and I go and put this line over here. See this? And I cut this and I put it here, for example. Now, if I hit on this, this preview, now you find that the lines will be gone. So if I click on the preview, I have given training. This will be a new line for us, but there will be no blank line in the Outlook body. Okay. So you see that now exactly after the option, I see here, I have given the training to more than 100 corporate. So this way, user can fully control this. Now, I want to tell you now how we have achieved all this. Okay. And so whenever there is a space, you have to tell your user, look, if you create one space here, one blank row here, that means Outlook will take it as a one blank line. As simple as that. If you give the 2 blank lines, in the Outlook also, this will be treated as a blank line. Okay, so this is the concept. And yes, this is a customization thing. We are capturing the last row. So in case if you have to add more content, you can always add more content. Automatically, this range, your code will pick this entire range. Okay, so what is the plan, guys? What we're doing here is this formatting is possible only if you can just go and copy this entire, content and paste it on the MS Word. So let me close this. So since I've already created the code, I'll explain you the code one by one, and you can see it's very easy code. And this is really superb output. You can use this. Now you see that here the Word application actually is open. You need not to know about the MS Word classes much because we're not really taking a deep dive into this. Okay. But yes, little bit of knowledge is required. But anyways, even if you do not know, I'm going to explain you everything line by line. Okay. I was using this in one of my projects also. Okay. So you may find some variables I have created, but it's not used here. So just leave that when you go and practice it. Okay. Now the first thing which I have done is I have created these 3 objects: OS, Outlook application, and mail item. This is required for mail. You know that if you have seen all the previous the lectures. And this is something new where we have actually declared WD as Word.application because we want to create a MS Word application. Remember that before you even start this, make sure, very important, you should have Microsoft Word 16.0 and Outlook 16.0 check mark there. because these are the libraries which generally doesn't come by default. Okay, you have to select that. So find out your own libraries. Though when you download this file, you will be able to use it. But by chance, if you find you're missing Microsoft Outlook, missing Microsoft Word, that means that you're not using the version which I'm using. I'm using Office 365, Office 365 and Office 2016. They use the same version. I have told you all this in the previous sessions as well. So what you need to do is you just need to select your own version. It could be 15.0, 14.0, whatever. But make sure you have Outlook and Word libraries activated. If you don't see here in this, that means you haven't installed it. You need to install that. Okay. So now the first thing is that when you get on this macro, this program files, you see that. So what happens? First of all, I'm just keeping these display alerts as false. So if any display alerts comes, it should be avoided. Now this is the first important line. We are creating a Word application here. Okay. Now why I have created these module level objects here? As I said that I was using it in some different project, but you can create these inside the subroutine as well. That's perfectly fine. Okay. They can be local objects as well. Okay. So you can always cut this and you put it here as well. Otherwise, here also, there's no problem. So first thing is that this is how we are creating a Word application, right? So like we always create the Outlook application using Excel VBA. So I'm going to make it sure that the Word should be visible. So let's go and run this. And you see now here, the Word is actually opened. Now this Word has nothing. You see that there's no document here, right? Word always has a document on which we go and add the things. So that's what we're going to do, but we are not going to do right away. I did it the right time. Right now we are just declaring all the objects. So your Word is open and now you go and create your own Outlook application and you already know this. This worksheet I have created. This is my first level worksheet. This is the sheet name. This is the same sheet name, because I like to go and create this. I like to use this. So just as a shortcut, I've created this WS wow. So now VBA will now accept this as my worksheet, which is first level worksheet, right? And here if you see, I created here very important three, I'm using here three classes. One is document, one is range, and the another one is Outlook.inspector, right? Now this document I'm creating because I want to go and create a document. I want to add a document here, that white canvas, on which I should go and copy this Excel range. So for that, you need to use this Word.document. And this is again in the same line, I'm declaring my range, the range which I have to copy. Which range? You see that here I'm defining the range. Now this range is coming from obviously my WS1 sheet, which is this sheet, and the range is R3 do. So it's picking this R3. You can see here. Actually, it's not. It's R3 because it will go in the body of the email. This is the subject line, as you can see. Okay, so we're starting from R3 up till what? Well, if you want to give a fixed range, you can always give like it's up till R21, or maybe because you have a logo, so you have to go till 21. Now what I've done, just to make sure that, if user wants to add something, I'm just calculating the last row. So this is what it is happening. You see that it has 21 row. 21 row is my email ID, which is the end of the email. And after that, I'm just adding 10 extra rows just to make sure that, the logo should also be added here. Otherwise, there will be a problem. Logo will not be coming in the Outlook body. So 10 rows are, I think, sufficient, because you have to make sure, you have to tell the user that, wherever you're stopping, you can add the content. That's not the problem. You can add the content, but the logo should be after the last line, it should be coming between the 10 lines. Okay. Again, you can always increase these lines if you think that, that the logo can be bigger in size. So once we have captured this, now your range is going to be copied. Okay. So the next line is going to be copied. So we're going to copy this range. See that the range is copied. You see that I've given the extra 10 lines. Fantastic. Now, one thing, what is this INSP? Well, Outlook.inspector. This is one of the class, dear students. I have not actually used this in this entire course, right? This is basically the email, which you write, that email, which actually has that specific page where you go and write, where you have the body of the email, where you have the to CC and the subject, in that email, the front part of that email, that's basically is called the Outlook.inspector, right? So this is really, really required Okay, so for the time being, I'll copy this later because otherwise I have to reset the code. So now this is the new line where I'm going to add the document. So we're going to add the document here. Okay, so once you have a document added here, document, now I'm going to re-add it. Okay, on blank MS Word application, or you can write object, whatever. Okay, so now you see this is my Word. The moment I add this, sometimes what happens when you work with external applications, like PowerPoint or MS Word, using the Excel VBA, your code from F8 goes to on the F5 mode, and the program immediately runs. This I have seen this, so it's better I put the breakcode here because it may go and quickly run. So I'm putting the breakcode. Now the moment I press F8, look at this. Now we have got that, the document on which now I can write something. Now on this, what you want to write? Well, we are using this doc.content.paste. That means on this document, the content has to be pasted. Which content you need to paste? Well, the same which you have copied here. So the moment I press F8, you see that we have been able to copy and paste this code. Now this is exactly like, if you do this manually, so okay, controlling the copying the code from Excel and pasting it here. Okay, and pardon me for the spellings. Okay, this is something you need to correct it. But once you have copied it, what do you need to do? Now this needs to go in the email. So we will go and now select this content, right? Now the content is selected. You might have seen this. My image is also selected, right? So you can't see all this selection, but it is selected. Now once this is selected, we will use doc.content copy. And now this is copied in the memory. Okay. Now after that, I'm just putting a pause of 1 second, just to make sure that, VBA should get the time, because sometimes it happens that the content, on the F5 mode, it may not be copied properly. So this is just a 1 second pause. Okay. I think it's not really required, but I just put I'm just using it. Okay. Now, once you are done, this is a very important thing now you need to handle. So now with this email, what we are trying to do, now we are using this email. Now we want to create an email. So that's why I have said that, on the Outlook, create an item OL mail item. Now you already know this class, right? So once we have now email created, the next step is very important. Now you will go and say that my INSP, which is an object which I have created, it has to be equals to that email get inspector. Okay. So this means that when you go and write email, when you click on this email, right, you see this is the page. This is called inspector. This is defined as an inspector class. So we need to tell that on this now Outlook, this is my now, if I will send something, that is my email, correct? But the page which you have right now, this is called the inspector. Okay, very important. Let me use this. Okay, so the next line which says that now there is an object called INSP. So basically we are trying to get the inspector of that, the same email. Okay, so you will go and press F8 now. Now we will pick the subject. Subject you can pick from R2, as you know that this is my subject. Okay, so this is fine. This will pick the subject, whatever you write. As you can see here, it has copied training. Now this is the most important line. Now here what we are saying, whatever the document we have, this is my document, right? Which we have copied. Now this document is going to be that editor, the word editor of my that inspector, which is actually coming from this email. So in very simple terms, this actually means that your document is now going to behave like, is going to be exactly the same as that email, inspector, that the page. All right. So when you go and do this, immediately you will find that in the memory, whatever the document we have copied, remember we have copied this. This is now going to be pasted. Now where it is going to be pasted, it will actually now go and get pasted on the Outlook inspector. Okay, because of this line, very important. So now this must have been pasted over there. You see, it took 1 or 2 seconds as well. The moment you say email.display, you have to use email.send after doing the practice, after doing the testing. I will not use that. Okay. So now you see, the moment I say F8, this is going to be available. Very nice. Once this is done, let's make sure we will go and close the document. We will close everything, even the Outlook application. This is all about that, right? Now, I can't why I have written this set document equals to wd.active document, because you can ask me that document was already defined, isn't it? You have defined the document somewhere here. Yeah, this line. So document is already a part of your MS Word, isn't it? WD, which is your new Word application. So why we are doing this again? I mean, why I'm just writing this again, but this time I'm writing active document. And tell you the reason, because your document is no more actually related. This object DMC is no more related with the MS Word because of this line. Okay. So if you don't write this line and you simply go and try to close this, you will get the error. Okay. So that's why we are saying that, okay, our job is done now. Document, it's my Outlook inspector. And because of that, I just use the paste this method, and the data is pasted. Now I have to go back. To my document to close it. Right. So that's why I said that, okay, now document DOC object will be equals to the same WD, the same word, which is this one, which I have opened, WD dot, in the above line, you have written this, isn't it? New word dot application. So this line will then again reconnect this DOC with that. And now you can close this. Pause means that when you close, it should not ask you, do you want to save the changes or not? Right. And at the same time, I'm just going to now quit from the word as well. Right. If you see that now, the document is gone, DOC is gone, but the word is still there. So we need to quit from this word also. You might have seen this thing in Excel as well, right? Where we use Excel.quit. If you close the workbook using workbook.close, workbook gets closed, but you finally, is left with the blank layout of Excel. So there we use Excel.quit. So here I'm using wd.quit, and we see the word is gone. After word is gone, make sure you put inspector email O as nothing, so that later on they can be reused again this way. Okay, so this is how, guys, you can simply go and use this automation. And as I said that I was working on some projects, so these are the same other previews which you need not to know. It's the same thing, so I just keep it as it is. Okay, so the best part about this is, if you remember, I was telling you that the moment I insert some lines, it gets pasted in the Outlook as well. For example, if I put here lines like this, like this. So now ultimately what will happen, your range will start from here and the last row will be this. And then the 10 additional rows will come. So what is happening, if you click on the preview, you see that here, the question which can come in your mind, that how it is actually creating the lines. It's all because of this document, MS Word, right? Because when I'm copying something from my Excel to the document, it exactly goes in the same way with all those spaces, and the same data then goes to the Outlook, right? So this is something user can experiment it, user can change the lines, and once she's happy with that, they can stick to that till the time no changes are required in the future. Okay, so guys, go and give it a try, and I hope you will enjoy this. Thank you.